So we can do business. So we were in the middle of questions and James had asked a question, so that's where we were at.
Thank you, Chair. Well, okay. It was about the progress or lack thereof, Stuart. I'm not understanding how too hard on this, I understand the pressures around them. So I'm looking only at the ones which I treat. I'm ignoring the tolerate because they're mostly external. And basically what it has appeared in 15 months, there's been little or no movement. I understand financial pressures will account for a lot of that, COVID with it as well, generally. For nothing to move seems a bit strange in that time.
Okay, we actually did pick up on these points. We have what's called an internal group, it's called the Risk Integrity Forum, where all the risk owners come together and we talk about the risk register, new risks that are coming in, things that may be changing. So we did actually give it some consideration. I think you could almost, in some ways, is the wider uncertainty and the wider volatility, does that play into the collective risk tolerances of everybody around the table? And we kind of discussed needing to be conscious of that. But as we went through it risk by risk, we were actually quite content that despite some of the internal controls that have been put in place for some that actually the external environment, which is not within our control, has significantly become significantly more uncertain in the last year, and therefore the only one that we felt that we collectively agreed that could move was the public utility. We felt that there had been controls, there had been elements that it could move it slightly. The wider perspectives around things like the war in Ukraine, supply chain issues, escalating costs and inflation, industrial unrest, bringing so much volatility and uncertainty that so you could say, it's not, as I said earlier, it's not a science, but you could say that we'll all be collectively very risk averse because of this wider environment, and so we did discuss the need to try and be aware of that, but despite that we still felt that irrespective of anything that's been done internally on some of them, that we didn't feel confident enough to actually move them down the way just because of that external environment. I do think there are others which are less influenced by the external environment, so I think it was mentioned in the last time, so for example health and safety, information governance, there are a few others, but again, having discussed some of the risk and some of the progress around some of the risk, we felt that we wanted to leave them where they were for the time being, although I would expect to see some of those start to improve in the not too distant future. So at the end of the day, it comes down to the judgment, and we did consciously think about that question that you posed us at the last committee and think about it in that context. But I guess in some ways, is this about improvement or about set, there are targets in here in some way, or is it just trying to reflect back what the reality of the situation as we see it is? So we did give it some conscious thought, but despite that, and it has only been 2 or 3 months, we didn't feel that there was anything that we were ready to downgrade or move anything significantly. So we were aware that this question would come up.
I didn't disappoint. But you mentioned health and safety policy, health and safety there. Now we recently voted through a new health and safety policy. I would have thought that would immediately reduce the risk. Surely.
I guess it would come down to deployment. So in any approach, you would have the approach, the policy, and the procedures. And then you've got the actions that you take to deploy that to the organisation, and monitoring to check that the policy intent is actually happening on the ground. So I guess to some extent there's lots of stuff being done, there's what's happening around risk assessments, there's a new system in place. We are updating risk assessments to that. There's quite a lot of visibility for the Chief Executive and for the senior leadership group on that. But again, as a collective, we just felt that we're not there yet, that we feel that there is more work to be done, so we just didn't feel we were placed to downgrade that. But we can see the progress, but just not feeling that you get that kind of one vote to that we're in the place to downgrade it. So I guess in some ways it's a blunter instrument. It doesn't go into that level of detail in some ways. But I do think these are there is still there is still the kind of sufficient concern that we didn't feel that we wanted to downgrade that one. So I guess it's the deployment, and I have, I've worked with local government now. I've just hit 37 years. I'm moving into my 38th year, and nothing's changed really in terms of having that policy intent and having to work really, really hard to make sure it gets to all parts of the organisation and that intent is happening. And we've got that kind of plan, do, check, act approach is happening throughout the whole thing. So whether it's health and safety policies or new procedures, or whether it's mandatory training, or whether it's contract standing orders or financial regulations, it's a constant, call it almost a test of resilience and will to make sure that it gets to every place until we're satisfied that it's there. So I think on health and safety, we're not content at this stage of the game to move it down, and we'll want to keep it high on the risk register.
Just a quick question on that as well, Stuart. But is this a yearly summary, or is it 6 months, or is it quarter?
So the way that it works, I can't remember the frequency of it's in the cycle of the committee. So it's updated prior to every committee. So the process is that the Risk and Integrity Forum meets. I chair that forum. There are various risk owners and other subject matter experts from across the council. So that will include IT, emergency planning, internal audit are there, procurement are there. So we'll look at all the various areas where there may be risks. We assess, we look at what's coming through. We make a recommendation through the senior leadership group in terms of the risk register, and then it comes here.
Okay.
So it's it's refreshed every cycle that's coming through.
Right, that's not quite so bad then, because I was thinking if this was a yearly thing, then we wouldn't know what was happening. But if you're talking about every 3 months or something like that, then, or 6 months, whatever, that's a little bit better than nothing, I suppose. Thanks.
Councillor McTaggart.
Thanks, Chair. The bit about information not managed effectively, Stuart, I'm assuming that when we have the full rollout of 365, that should improve dramatically.
Yeah, so there are it should improve dramatically, and a lot of the systems that we're bringing in will certainly make how we manage data slicker. Not only that, it'll start to give us much more powerful tools that enable us to analyse data, but also we're also getting into the territory where we'll start to be able to be much more predictive, so that there is technology coming in that will enable that. And so, for example, we've been doing pilots with things like Internet of Things, which is sensors that we've been putting in the schools to monitor the CO2 levels. That gives us, that's related to concentration, etc. So, or you could have things that are monitoring atmospherics in buildings, like Legionella or damp or mold, etc. And so you start to get into that predictive territory. The other side of that coin, of course, is that as you move more of your data to the cloud and you have got some of those facilities, it also brings risk. So there are still elements around data management and disciplines that we need, but in fact more than ever we need to make sure are in place. So there are elements around that. We've also had quite a high turnover of staff, and I would relate this one back to health and safety as well at a senior level. A lot of our managers have come in during the pandemic, so we do feel that there's quite a bit of work to make sure that our managers are absolutely skilled up to understand what's required in terms of the legislation and information management, whether it's FOIs or data protection. We've just done quite a bit of work on that, and we had Robert solicitors were in to do a briefing for all managers on that. So there's quite a bit of work as well as the systems which are coming in that are going to enable, but also upskilling staff, making staff aware, and making sure that the disciplines are in place so that we're compliant with the GDPR, the data protection regulations. Hopefully that answers your question.
Thanks, Stuart.
Any other questions? Would somebody like to move the paper? Yeah, thank you. Seconder, Martha. Anyone like to debate the paper? No. So thanks so much for your patience today, particularly after the fire alarm and putting our audience as well. So thank you very much, and that concludes business for today. Thank you.